So what would you say to someone that is wants to be an engineer, right? Has that want in high school, but maybe is similar to, like, I feel like a little bit closer to your case, that is toying with math, likes physics, but also likes art. You know, would you recommend them this path of, like, I'm like, I'm between, you know, civil and mechanical engineering, I'm between English, I'm between computer science. Like, why should I choose civil engineering?
So one of the reasons I chose civil engineering was also because of art.
Okay.
Like I told you, I wanted to do art, but I wanted to do something that made money.
Yeah.
So I was that's when I decided to do. I changed so much. But first I was like, all right, I'm gonna do architecture.
Okay.
Because there's so much art involved.
Yeah.
Like 90% art.
Yeah, definitely.
But I remember checking the unemployment rate, and it was very high.
Okay.
And this was before I went into college.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, not architecture.
Okay.
And so the closest thing to architecture to me was civil engineering. So that's why I was like, all right, this one should be similar. So I did that. And during college, I learned all those programs.
Yeah.
I even worked as a drafter while I was in school doing art stuff, I guess, in the programs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that was the closest I got to do art in engineering.
Okay.
So
yeah. So security played a very big portion for you.
Security played a huge thing in it, yeah.
Yeah, and that money, you know, it's a weird, I don't know if it's a weird notion or thought to say, like, that money and security and all those things, right? Like, it seems to be frowned upon by society if you choose like these things. And, you know, leading off of your response, it's like money doesn't buy happiness, but sure as fuck, you know, buys a house, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's great to hear you acknowledge that and not ignore that portion of it, especially coming from the households that we did, and, you know, being in a little bit more of a lower income area and things like that. And then you, Jenny, why should I do civil engineering?
I would say it's very broad. So there's like many things that you can do in civil engineering. Like I feel like you could do either transportation, water, like soil surveying. So if you're like wanting to do something that has many things that touches upon that and you just don't know what to choose, I think civil engineering is a great choice.
Okay.
And then you can just narrow it down once you get closer to, in terms of like, oh, what kind of job do I want to do? And that's what internships are for, in terms of like getting that experience and narrowing down like your options.
So I'm not too familiar about civil engineering, because like when you in the first response you said, you know, construction, but you're already like a civil engineering major. What other aspects, can you give an example of the other things that you listed, like what you would be doing that would be different than what you're doing right now?
Well, I guess what's different is that I'm not really designing. So that's the difference between construction and civil engineering. We touch on civil engineering. What is the word for it? Like,
it's okay.
Can't think of the word for it. But like we touch on, like, we need a surveyor to do the survey of like whatever building or whatever you're constructing. And then we need to make sure like what type of soil we have. That's also civil engineering. So we touch on civil engineering, but we don't do the actual engineering ourselves. We like coordinate with the like with the engineers.
It's like I think your title speaks a little bit more about what you're trying to touch on, right? Like a project engineer. So you're not just an engineer, because you do have to have those principles and understand what is needed for the function of the entire project. But you're kind of, and I think we talked about it, right? Where I'm, and most of the cogs know, I'm very interested in going into product management and project management. And big portions of those jobs are to kind of be interdisciplinary managers for every single aspects of the job, right? And kind of follow the timeline. So would you say that in that similar fashion, your role kind of goes in there and deals with one subject matter expert, right? Like the soil or whoever that is, the cement expert. I don't know, right? I'm just pulling shit out of my ass. But like whoever those different parts of those jobs are,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what I like about construction is that you touch different disciplines. So